Hey, it's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the CURT Premium Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on our 2022 Toyota Tacoma. The CURT Premium is a hanging style bike rack capable of supporting 4 bikes up to 180 pounds total. It's going to hold on to our bikes primarily by the top tube with one anti-sway cradle here in the back. It does taper down towards the end to accommodate some kids' bikes, but if you do have an aggressive alternative frame style bike, you might have to pick up a bike adapter bar to make it work. Also, if you have carbon frame bikes, we'd recommend using against this type of rack because it does make that primary frame contact and could potentially damage your frame while you're driving. It has the ability to fold the arms down and to tilt away, but in either case, we're going to have to get the bike removed to show you that, so that's the first thing we're going to do. We're just going to start by releasing these rubber straps around the frame of our bike. We'll have to do all 3 of them, starting with the top tube, and then we'll come to this anti-sway cradle here. You can see it does an okay job at keeping that bike from moving back and forth too much. And from here, we can just slowly sort of guide the bikes through. You shouldn't be putting very heavy bikes on here in general, so that part can be a little bit tricky, but nothing too terrible. I'll set this off to the side for now, and then I'll come back and we'll get some quick measurements to see how much space we've added on from the back of our vehicle with it in this position. So I'll just put these straps back in real quick just to keep them from moving around too much. Also, if you noticed, that front tire was sort of free swinging, so if you want to cut down on some of that, you can pick up some stabilizing straps to keep that tire in place. But like I mentioned, from here, I'll see how much space we've added on. So from the bumper to our furthest point back, it's going to be adding on close to 38 inches in this position, so it does stick out quite a ways. But like I mentioned, we do have the ability to fold these arms down to minimize some of that. So we'll first pull this clip and then the pin, fold it down, find where those holes line up again, replace the pin as well as that clip. And now we'll get a new measurement to see that space that we've saved. So now from the bumper to our furthest point back, it's going to come in at about 13 inches. So we save a ton of space that way. It makes it a lot easier to use when it's folded up in this position. That being said, because it does sit pretty much exclusively in the middle, it's going to obstruct some things on the back of the car. Our license plate's right here in the middle, obviously, so we're going to be blocked right there at that angle, but there's going to be ways to see it from either side. Our backup camera is right here, so there's a decent window right around here that it might be able to see through, but it's going to get a lot of that rack involved there as well. It doesn't come anywhere near our taillights because of how it's organized in the center, but it does peek over the top of our tailgate, and you might be able to see the top of this out of your rear window. But granted, whenever it's in use and you have those bikes on there, those are definitely going to be super visible out of your rear window. We have the ability to tilt this away, but we do have to have the bikes unloaded, so make sure you do that first. We'll pull this clip, as well as this pin here. Well, we're actually going to have to unthread this knob here in the back first to make sure that that's loose enough for this pin to come out. And then we can pull this knob here up at the top. Tilts down, and we can open up our tailgate now to see just how much clearance we'll get in that case. So we'll go slow here, and you'll see before it opens up fully, it will end up making contact with that handle there. So we definitely wouldn't recommend letting this open all the way, and definitely don't sit on it. But if you have a tonneau cover and you need a little bit of access, that's the way to do it. Otherwise, I would honestly just get it out of the bed. You don't really have to tilt it away to do that, but if you have a tonneau cover, I could see that being useful. Pop this back up now. That knob slides back down into place, so it will hold it without me having to do it. Put the pin back in, and we'll get that clip fit back in on the other side. Just like that. And we'll tighten that hand knob back down right here on the back. Just like this. While we're down here, we can take a closer look at the shank. So the rack does use a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch receiver. It's held in place by this anti-rattle bolt and the clip here on the other end. Up here along the mast as well, there's just an anchor point if you want to use that for your cable locks to secure your bikes to the rack. So overall, the CURT Premium, there's not a ton to it. A lot of pinch points when you're moving those pins and clips in and out. That's going to be kind of hard to avoid with these hanging style bike racks, unless you wanted to look into something like the Yakima Full Tilt. It's another hanging style bike rack. It's a little bit higher up as far as the features go. A lot less pinch points. It just kind of uses handles to fold the arms down and to tilt away. But the CURT Premium is a really solid entry-level way to get 4 bikes where you need them to go. I do like the fact that it tapers at the end to accommodate those kids' bikes right off the bat. This, again, was just a quick look at the CURT Premium and how it fits on our 2022 Toyota Tacoma.